I moved into a new house a year ago and it's taken me a little bit to get settled, especially for my office space. So I'm really excited to share with you today my entire desk setup. My last desk had a lot of products and now I'm going for more of like a minimalist, clean, girly vibe, and I'm really loving it right now. So let me show you around. The first thing is my desk. I have a desk from FlexiSpot that they graciously gave to me for a brand partnership a couple years ago for my other office video, which I will link somewhere up here if you want to take a look at what it used to look like. I kept the desk, I brought it with me, and I've loved it so far. I honestly think I could even go wider, like maybe in the future I could see myself upgrading because I love having a ton of desk space. Okay, now I'm gonna get some boring stuff out of the way and talk about cable management. It is a necessity if you want a very clean desk. I will say I cannot stand doing cable management, so I basically paid my husband to do it. I am such a slug, so you know, it was worth it though. It was worth it. The trick really is using a lot of trays and a lot of zip ties. What I have is a bunch of trays in the back of the desk, and that's where I hide all of my power strips and all of my different cables that hook everything up to this desk right here. I will link a starter kit in my descriptions below if you're interested, because I think that makes a very big impact on what your desk is going to look like in terms of keeping that like polished look. One of my favorite things that I highly encourage investing in is a dock. Essentially why I use it, it just helps really reduce any cable clutter. I have so many things hooked up to this monitor, and this desk overall has so many different electronics that I like to plug it into one single source, which is my dock, and so that way I get more ports for other items. Let's move on to the chair that I'm using. I got this chair from Amazon. I mainly got it for the aesthetics because I was looking for a white chair. I was looking for something light, not like a big bulky black chair. However, you will see in my other videos that I do have a black chair that I use because we have a couple chairs floating around in this house. That one's a lot more comfortable, I'd say, but I just love the look and feel of this one. Now let's go over some things that are actually on my desk here. I have a laptop stand. My laptop sits closed sitting inside that laptop stand. So I really love the stand that I have currently. It's very aesthetic. It matches my desk exactly. And I will also have that linked in my descriptions. Let's move on to the star of the show, which is essentially my monitor. She is ultra wide, okay? Her toxic trait is attention-seeking behavior. She feels seen, she is seen. I ended up going ultra wide because in the past I had just one extra monitor and then my laptop open to the side. And for me, when I design, I love having a ton of windows up and being able to see them all together in one giant monitor. Okay, let's move on to the laptop. I get this question a lot from aspiring UX designers, maybe entering bootcamp or self-taught, and they always ask me, Mimi, what is the best computer to use for UX design? And I always have the same answer. Honestly, whatever can get you to the internet and any design tools like Figma or Sketch or whichever design tool really is your preference. There is no hard rule of you have to have this specific computer in order to become a UX designer. My preference is Apple products. I love my Mac, but otherwise, like whatever fits your budget and your preference, I would say works for you, but my entire UX career, I have stuck with Apple. The next thing I have is my webcam. So my webcam is up here. It has some pretty cool fancy features. You're able to adjust the saturation or the brightness or different types of hues and colors if you want to, which I find really neat, and I haven't used a webcam like that before, so it's kind of nice to have that kind of control. And again, the beauty about this is this thing connects back to my dock in the back of my desk. And so that way I don't have to plug it directly into my laptop and have to do that every single time I get on a call. Now we're gonna move on to lighting. So I only have one really like big light source here, and it's really the LED strips on the back of my monitor. What I love about these is I do have a remote back here so I can change the colors quite often. Another cool feature is on my phone, there's an app that I've installed and I can adjust the different colors from there too, because the remote on the back of my monitor only has certain colors, so they don't have like my favorite colors, which are something like my hot pink that I've made, and then another one that I love is like this bright orange that I usually have. So those are kind of like my two favorites. I also have this like new bluish purple one that I created, so you can create custom colors. For me, this is probably the most impactful piece of creating an ambiance for my desk and like really almost like romanticizing the environment that I work in. And I really do believe that helps set the tone for me at the start of my workday when I come in and I have a ritual of turning on a color, choosing a color, and I really hope that that also boosts creativity for myself too before I start designing or strategizing or just working overall. Initially when I bought this desk mat, I use it as like a mega mouse pad, and I realized there's a lot of good, cool, fancy features on here that I should have been utilizing this entire time. One of my favorite is that there's a handy dandy pocket to keep scratch paper that I use for wireframes, and this groove at the top here I actually use pretty frequently because I've been using my chapsticks. Definitely has more use cases than one. All right, let's move on to one of my favorite items on the desk, and that is my keyboard. Oh my gosh, love, love, love. Okay, so the keyboard that I'm currently using is the Keychron K5. I have some backstory on this because I did a ton of research about keyboards before buying this one. So before I got this keyboard, I actually had a Clutch mechanical keyboard that I'm showing right here. And then also before that, I had a Magic Apple keypad. But the problem was that the Clutch was way too loud and it was like bothering my husband, and honestly it was getting pretty annoying. It was just so loud that when I would be on Zooms I'd try and type like notes and it would come off as so loud that I couldn't even hear the other person talking. I'd have to mute myself. I also actually really like having a number pad, so the Clutch didn't have a number pad. Then when I moved over to the Apple Magic keyboard, it was way too flat and it was hurting my wrist, and also the one that I was given for my company was black and it just didn't fit the vibe. And so I was like, you know what, I need to find a white keyboard that actually has some feedback, because that's still something I really wanted, is to kind of go mechanical because I do like the sound. And so I did a lot of research and I went with the Keychron. And I mainly went with the Keychron as well because I'm not very well versed in mechanical keyboards. I'm not someone who needs to start customizing their keyboard, so I also was looking at something that would work right out of the box. But so far I've had this for about 6 months and I'm actually obsessed. The other huge pro about this keyboard is that it switches between devices so seamlessly. I switch frequently between like YouTube editing and also work, and so being able to use that same keyboard and just easily switch between Bluetooth is amazing. Let's move on to the mouse. So the mouse that I currently have is a Logitech Lift mouse. The fun thing about this mouse is that it is vertical. So you hold it like this instead of like that. Before this, I had a standard Apple mouse and I just found that eventually it was hurting my wrist. So I was looking into other mouses or mice, I don't know, that would help with that kind of ergo pain that I was having. Not going to lie, I did have a little bit of a bumpy start when I started using that vertical mouse. I think 2 weeks in, my wrist really started hurting. I felt like my pinky was like going numb. Yeah, I know, you're probably like, okay, you probably shouldn't use that mouse. But for some reason, I stuck it out and it ended up working, and now I love it and I'm very used to using it now. So weirdly, I'm okay with it. And so I've kept it thus far. If anything happens ever again, then I should probably stop using it, but so far so good. Let's move on to the smaller items on my desk. First up is this coaster. So I just came back from Japan for a couple of weeks, and this penguin's name is Pensta. Actually, the big one's name is Pensta. I don't know about like the baby penguin. If you've ever gone to Japan, or if you're thinking of going to Japan, you have to get a transit card. One of the companies is called Suica, and they have a penguin on it. And basically, because the Japanese love cutesy things, they took the penguin and made it a mascot and gave it a name. And so I stumbled upon a store that had everything and anything Pensta. I use this coaster for coffee. I just want to make sure there's no coffee ring stains on my beautiful desk or on my beautiful mat. So I use this quite often. Moving on to another cutie that I found in Japan, and this is a pug calendar for my desk. I am obsessed with this thing. It is not 2025 yet, so once it is going to be 2025, then I get to use it. And what's so cute about this is that they are different colors based on the month. Ah! I'm a pug person because I'm inspired by this little creature that lives in my house currently named Morty. And so I was very big on getting anything and everything puggy. The next thing that I have are all of my different notepads. I know it's not that fun, but if you're a UX designer, I do have different notepads for different things. And I do find that a little bit interesting. So I use a larger notepad for like some notes that I take during meetings. I have a smaller spiral notepad here for my to-dos. I also got this in Japan. It's all kind of like my checklist for the day. So I'll have this on my desk as well. And then all of my sketching for wireframings or doodles are done on legal paper. That is my little tip for you. Legal paper just gives you so much more room. Like you can fold it to create little sections. Next up is something that you see me use every single day in my videos, and that is my headphones. If I could endorse these, I would. I'm obsessed with my Sony headphones. These are everything to me. Every time I'm doing head design work or if I'm like deep in a flow, like these are everything. I sometimes have them on for calls, but I will say in the summer here in San Diego, my ears do get pretty hot and toasty in here. So that's why I've switched to another form of audio when I'm on calls. And those are my AirPods. So I got AirPods like a couple months ago. I have this like cute case on it. I actually got this in Seoul where it says, "This is my bear." So silly. And so I've been using those mainly for calls because one, my ears aren't hot, and two, then I can wear earrings and be cute. One of the things that I usually have on my desk is like my little fidget cube. I ended up getting this because, I don't know, I think I had a very stressful year at work. Not this year, but a year before. I'll put the link somewhere up there. But during that time, I was like, I need any type of coping mechanism that can get me through this. So I got one of these and now I love playing with it. I just have it on my desk for any time I need it or just want to use it. More in terms of if you're a little corporate work from home baddie like me, then let's get into some beauty stuff. Only a couple things really. So one is sunscreen. I actually got this in Seoul. I love this thing. It's a sunscreen stick. I sit by a window right here, and so throughout the day I will put this on my cheek, especially the one that is facing this window. I love using this. It has SPF 50 plus, so I don't know the name of it, so if you are interested, take a screenshot because I have tried a lot of sunscreen sticks and this is one of my favorites. And then previously I was talking about chapstick. This is chapstick that I got in Japan. You can see that this chapstick is kind of clear or it's white, but when you put it on, like you can see the ends, it turns pink. So when I put this on my lips, it turns pink. It has SPF in it. This is my favorite thing about Japan and Korea is they put SPF in everything. And that is like the best way to ensure that you don't turn into like a decrepit vampire in the middle of the night. So highly recommend if you end up going to Japan. I also have a Japan haul video that I will link up here depending on the order of videos that I end up putting out. All right, another thing that I have on my desk are all of my pens. So I just, again, recently went to Japan and they are known for their amazing stationery. So I bought a ton of different pens here, colored pens. I love their highlighters. So what I've been doing lately is using them for designs. I love Japanese highlighters and stationery. They're just like next level. I find that wireframing is so much more fun when you have different colors. Notes too have been really great to have different colored pens just to make distinctions in like the type of notes that I've been taking. This has made designing a lot more fun lately, so highly recommend getting yourself some colored pens. So recently we installed a shelf up here for the office, so I'll go through each of the items from like left to right. And essentially the first one is just a fake plant. Okay, there's nothing amazing about it. It is just to liven the place up, even though it's fake, so it's not really livening up anything. It's a fraud. It's a fraud. The next one's pretty fun. I repurposed a magazine that I got while I was in Japan. It is a city guide for Kyoto. I believe this is for boys. That's what it says. I'm not saying it's for boys because I want it to be for boys. It literally says city boys. Okay. Moving on to the one next to it is a caricature. I got this done with my husband when we were in Seoul. We went to the Acorn caricature place, but I don't know. Do you think she looks like me? Because I don't. Who is she? Who is this diva? Because that is not me. I feel like my forehead's not that big. I feel like I have a really tiny forehead. Okay, the last thing I have on my shelf is this Japanese cat. I got it at Loft in Japan. I think it's essentially like a lucky cat. It's ceramic, it's painted. I just thought it was so cute. Look at his little face. And that about wraps up my desk tour. Thank you so much for watching. Again, I linked as many products as I can down in the description below if you want to check it out, and I will see you next time. Bye.